Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Systematic with Dominic. That's right, and today is Mighty Monday, the day that at the end of the day, we make it our point, we make it our goal to say Monday,
I won the day.
That's right, but how do we do that on Mondays? How do we do that every Monday? Well, how we do that right here, we rise with the Landises.
The Landises.
Right here, systematic growth, rise with the Landises edition. But how are you going to rise? How are you going to rise in your relationships? How are you going to rise in life? How are you going to rise continuously? How are you going to do that? Is by what we were speaking about last week. We were talking about last week that communication is key. And right here on Rise with the Landises, we always give our ultimate respect to our queens. And my queen is Miss Selena Landis. How you doing?
Good, and you're my king, baby.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. But you know, last week, what were we talking about last week?
So we just touched up on the topic of communication. You know, you were mentioning something about how you do not understand how a man and woman, how they are not friends. Let's say like a man gets off of work and he doesn't want to come home and talk to his woman. You know, he's not communicating it with his woman, but he can go to work and talk to all the people there.
Right.
Or you were mentioning something about communication as far as husband and wife not being friends. The husband going to work and then going to the bar afterwards, not inviting his wife.
Right.
So, you know, there's a lot of factors that, you know, tie in with communication too. You know, there's other factors as far as, you know, tone of voice, how you talk to people.
Right.
You know, do you communicate, you know, verbally over the phone? You know, 90% of communication is body language. So,
right.
You know, there's a whole ton of factors to take into consideration when it comes to communication and relationships. So.
Yeah, right. And you hit a great point. You know, your tonality, you know, when you speak. And let me take this moment, you know, to apologize to my queen, my wife, Selena. Because everybody that knows me knows I'm a happy guy. But you also know me, if you know me and had the times to see, you know, I say what's on my mind. No matter who you are, no matter what you are, I'm going to say what I have to say. And not all the times is what I have to say with the best tone. And I want to apologize to you for not having the best tone. Sometimes, you know, we might not think we're having a tone, right?
That's right.
But it takes someone else to bring it to light for us. And, you know, speaking about tone, you know, we live in the digital age, right? The digital age. And, you know, everyone, high likelihood, 95% or better, you know, has a cell phone attached to them. And then you throw in Facebook, you throw in Instagram, what else? TikTok, all these other little apps that you can socialize on. And why am I bringing that up? The reason why is because sadly, and Selena's told me this before, you know, when there's a topic of conversation that needs to be had, she didn't feel comfortable speaking verbally to me, but she felt more comfortable texting.
Yeah. For a long time in our relationship, just because whenever I would approach you about something, you always had an attitude and stuff. You want to have your tone of voice. So a lot of times when it came to, you know, approaching you about something that was on my mind or any issues that I had, you know, if it was something you didn't want to hear, you know, you had that tone of voice. So for a long time, I felt more comfortable with texting you. instead of talking to you
Listen.
and face to face.
Right.
Okay. And the reason for that is because I didn't have to see his attitude or his facial expressions or his body language. I can just text it and I can say whatever the heck I want to say, and I knew he was going to read it.
And see, that's how it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be that way.
It shouldn't be. You know, if you have to feel that you only can communicate with your spouse through a messaging app, through text message, then you don't have an open line of communication. You don't have a healthy relationship that is meant to strive and rise. Why? Because how can you strive and rise? How can you have a healthy relationship, but you aren't properly communicating? Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with texting. There's nothing wrong with messaging. But when it comes to serious topics that need to be had face to face, but you don't feel comfortable doing it, then there's a underlying issue that needs to be addressed. You see, understand, we don't have a problem speaking to a customer face to face. We don't have a problem speaking to our coworkers face to face. We don't have a problem speaking to our managers face to face. But when it comes down to it, when it comes down to your spouse, you want to firm it up and act like a shell of an individual and not speak up. That's when there's an issue. A healthy relationship speaks to each other. A healthy relationship respects what the other thinks, feels, believes. Doesn't mean that you're going to agree with them. Doesn't mean that you're going to always, see eye to eye. But how you come to a healthy, resolve is you say what is on your mind. Then be quiet. Actively listen, proactively listen to the next person. That's a healthy communication with your spouse. Not through text messaging, not through a messaging app. It's not going to work. Why is it not going to work? Because you don't even feel comfortable speaking to your spouse. So how are you going to feel comfortable rising in business? How are you going to feel comfortable rising in your family life? How are you going to feel comfortable doing anything together when you can't even feel comfortable speaking? Does that make sense?
It does. Because structure comes from the top. First of all, it comes from God, and then Jesus, and then man, of course, the elders, and then it goes, husband and wife, and then so if it's not right up from the top, it's going to trickle down to your family life, to your business. You got to be straight and you got to be structured from the top, just like in business. If management is straight at the top, then everything else is going to come trickling down and it's going to mess up and be disorganized. That's why you have to have your relationship organized. It's going to be better for your relationship, for your family life, for your kids, and also for business as well.
Yeah.
So, and then always remember to put God first.
Right on. And that's a great point that we're actually going to speak about on the next Rise with the Landises, is communication in the workplace. But right here, we're talking about communication amongst our spouse. So how are we going to be able to honestly say, Monday, I won the day? Well, how are we going to be able to say that is by respecting our spouse's mindset, respecting and honoring how they feel, and addressing it appropriately, not through text, not through a messaging app, but verbally, face to face, looking at each other's eyes. That's how you're going to honestly be able to say, Monday, I won the day. How are we going to close it out?
Always have respect for each other, communicate, talk nicely, listen. Even if you don't agree, just go ahead and keep those facial expressions, keep a smile on your face, keep those facial expressions respectable and that tone of voice respectable. And how we're going to close out is we're going to say, Monday, I won the day.
Monday, I won the day. That's right. This is my wife, Selena Landis. This is Dominic Landis, Systematic with Dominic, on with Rise with the Landis edition. We'll catch you on Friday. In the meantime, practice speaking to your spouse honestly, sincerely, lovingly. And I promise you will be able to say you honestly won the day. We'll holler at you on Friday. Peace.